Imagine walking through a desert, climbing a mountain, or exploring a dark cave, and suddenly finding something that had been hidden for thousands of years. Some discoveries completely changed what we thought we knew about history. They revealed lost civilizations, unlocked forgotten languages, and answered questions that had puzzled people for centuries. But many of these discoveries also created new mysteries. Who hid them? Why were they lost? And what secrets are they still hiding? Today, we're exploring 5 incredible discoveries that changed history forever. Make sure to stay until the end, because the final discovery may be the most important archaeological find of the 20th century. Let's begin. Fact number 1, the Rosetta Stone, 1 to 20 AF Ras. In the summer of 1799, French soldiers were strengthening an old fort near the Egyptian town of Rosetta during Napoleon Bonaparte's campaign. As workers dug into the ground, one soldier noticed something unusual. It wasn't gold. It wasn't a statue. It was a broken slab of dark stone covered with mysterious writing. At first glance, it looked ordinary. But historians would soon realize it was one of the most important discoveries in human history. The stone contained the same message written in 3 different scripts. 1, ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. 2, Demotic, the everyday script used in ancient Egypt. 3, ancient Greek. For nearly 1,400 years, nobody could read Egyptian hieroglyphs. Temples and monuments were covered in symbols, but their meaning had been forgotten after the Roman Empire spread new languages through Egypt. The Rosetta Stone changed everything. Because scholars could already read ancient Greek, they realized all 3 texts contained the same message. By comparing them, they slowly began decoding the mysterious hieroglyphs. The breakthrough came in 1822, when French scholar Jean-François Champollion announced that he had successfully deciphered the ancient writing. Suddenly, thousands of inscriptions across Egypt could finally be understood. The voices of pharaohs, priests, and ancient civilizations, silent for centuries, could speak again. Without the Rosetta Stone, much of what we know about ancient Egypt today might still be a mystery. But one question remains. How many other ancient languages are still waiting to be unlocked? Fact number 2, the dancing plague of 1518. Imagine waking up one morning and seeing your neighbors dancing in the middle of the street. At first it seems harmless. Maybe there's a celebration. Maybe it's a festival. But something is terribly wrong. The dancers aren't smiling. They're crying. Some are screaming in pain, yet their bodies refuse to stop moving. They dance for hours, then days. Some continue until they collapse from exhaustion. Others reportedly die from heart attacks, strokes, or dehydration. This sounds like the plot of a horror movie, but it actually happened. Welcome to one of history's most disturbing mysteries, the dancing plague of 1518. It all began in July 1518 in the city of Strasbourg, then part of the Holy Roman Empire, now located in modern-day France. According to historical records, a woman known as Frau Trophea walked into the street and began dancing for no apparent reason. She danced all day. When night came, she still didn't stop. The next morning, she was still dancing. People gathered around her in disbelief. Some laughed. Others became frightened. No one could explain what was happening. Then the impossible happened. Within a week, dozens of people had started dancing in the same uncontrollable way. Within a month, hundreds had joined them. Historical accounts suggest that nearly 400 people were affected. The streets became scenes of chaos. People danced until their feet bled. Some collapsed from exhaustion. Others reportedly died after days without enough food, water, or rest. The city leaders had no idea what to do. Instead of stopping the dancers, they believed the victims needed to dance until the strange illness left their bodies. So they made a decision that seems unbelievable today. They hired musicians. They built wooden stages. Professional dancers were brought in to encourage the victims. But the plan had the opposite effect. The music appeared to attract even more dancers. The outbreak grew worse. Fear spread throughout the city. Families watched helplessly as loved ones danced beyond the limits of human endurance. So what caused this terrifying event? More than 500 years later, historians and scientists still disagree. One theory blames ergot poisoning. A fungus growing on rye grain can produce chemicals similar to LSD, causing hallucinations and unusual behavior. But many experts reject this explanation. People suffering from ergot poisoning usually experience severe muscle spasms and weakness, making it unlikely they could dance continuously for days. Another explanation is mass psychogenic illness, sometimes called mass hysteria. Life in Strasbourg was extremely difficult. The region had suffered from famine, disease, poverty, and years of emotional stress. Some psychologists believe fear and anxiety became so intense that they spread from person to person, causing people to unconsciously imitate the strange behavior. Others believe religion played a major role. At the time, many believed in the power of Saint Vitus, who was said to curse people with uncontrollable dancing if they angered him. The fear of being cursed may have caused panic to spread throughout the city. Eventually, the authorities changed their approach. The dancers were taken to a shrine dedicated to Saint Vitus. Religious ceremonies were performed. Slowly, the mysterious dancing came to an end. But the mystery itself never ended. Even today, no one knows exactly what happened in Strasbourg during the summer of 1518. Was it a disease, a psychological phenomenon, a religious panic, or something that modern science still cannot fully explain? More than 5 centuries later, the dancing plague remains one of history's strangest unsolved mysteries, a chilling reminder that the human mind and body can sometimes behave in ways we still don't understand. If you thought a city dancing itself into chaos was unbelievable, wait until you discover an enormous underground world carved with incredible precision, yet no one knows who built it or why. Welcome to the mystery of the Longyou Caves. Fact number 3. The Longyou Caves, China's underground mystery. Imagine draining a quiet village pond, expecting to find nothing more than mud and fish. Instead, you uncover the entrance to an enormous underground world. A world so massive, so perfectly carved, that it shouldn't exist. Yet somehow, it does. This is the mystery of the Longyou Caves. For centuries, villagers in Zhejiang Province, China, believed the deep ponds surrounding their community had no bottom. Legends claimed they were mysterious pools that had existed forever. No one imagined that beneath the calm water lay one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of modern times. Then, in 1992, a local resident named Wu Anai decided to test the old legend. He hired workers and several powerful water pumps to drain one of the ponds. It took nearly 3 weeks. When the water was finally gone, everyone stood in disbelief. Hidden beneath the surface was a gigantic man-made cave. Its walls were smooth. Its ceilings soared high above the ground. Every surface was covered with perfectly carved parallel chisel marks. But the biggest surprise came next. This wasn't just one cave. As explorers continued searching nearby ponds, they discovered 24 enormous underground chambers, all carved by human hands. Together, they covered more than 30,000 square meters. Some chambers were as tall as a 4-story building. Massive stone pillars had been left standing to support the ceilings. Wide staircases connected different levels. Everything had been carved with remarkable precision. The question was obvious. Who built this underground city? Archaeologists estimate the caves are more than 2,000 years old, possibly dating back to the Qin or Han dynasty. But there is one shocking problem. No historical record mentions their construction. Ancient China kept detailed records of major engineering projects: great walls, canals, palaces, temples, all carefully documented. Yet there is not a single known document describing the creation of the Longyou Caves. Even more mysterious is the amount of work involved. Experts estimate that workers would have had to remove nearly 1 million cubic meters of solid rock. Without modern machinery, This would have required an enormous workforce working for many years. Where did all that stone go? There is no evidence of giant waste piles nearby. It simply disappeared. Then there are the markings. Every wall, ceiling, and pillar is covered with identical carved lines. Some researchers believe they strengthened the rock. Others think they were decorative. No one knows for certain. The caves also show almost no signs of collapse after more than 2,000 years. Their builders understood engineering with incredible precision. But why were they built? Some believe they were royal storage chambers. Others think they were military hideouts. Some suggest they were ceremonial spaces used for religious rituals. And a few researchers even believe they may have had multiple purposes. To this day, no theory explains every mystery. Who organized such a massive project? Why was it kept secret? Why did history forget it? And how could an engineering masterpiece disappear from human memory for over 2,000 years? The Longyou Caves remain one of archaeology's greatest unsolved puzzles, a hidden underground world, built by unknown hands, for reasons that may never be fully understood. Fact number 4, the Baghdad Battery. Did ancient people discover electricity? What if someone invented a battery over 2,000 years ago? Long before Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Edison, or modern electricity, an ancient clay jar found near Baghdad sparked one of archaeology's greatest debates. Could ancient civilizations have discovered electricity centuries before history says they did? Let's uncover the mystery of the Baghdad Battery. The discovery. In 1938, archaeologists discovered a strange object near Baghdad, Iraq. At first glance, it looked like an ordinary clay pot. But inside was something unexpected. 1, a copper cylinder. 2, an iron rod placed in the center. 3, the top sealed with asphalt, keeping the metals apart. It didn't resemble a storage jar or a vase. Instead, it looked surprisingly similar to the basic design of a modern battery. The artifact is believed to date back around 2,000 years, during the Parthian period. No one knew exactly what it was made for. The shocking experiment. Years later, scientists built an exact copy. Then they filled it with acidic liquids like vinegar or grape juice. Something incredible happened. The jar produced a small electric voltage, not enough to power a light bulb, but enough to prove that it could generate electricity. This discovery sparked an astonishing question. Did ancient people understand electricity? Theories. Many researchers have proposed different explanations. One theory says the battery was used for electroplating. Electroplating is a process that uses electricity to coat one metal with another, such as covering silver with a thin layer of gold. If true, ancient craftsmen may have created beautiful jewelry using electrical current. Another theory suggests it may have been used in medicine. Some ancient cultures believed small electric shocks could relieve pain. Others think it may have been used in religious rituals to create mysterious sensations that amazed worshippers. Imagine touching a sacred object and suddenly feeling a tiny shock. To people thousands of years ago, that might have seemed like magic. The mystery. But there is a problem. Archaeologists have never found wires, light bulbs, or electrical devices from that period. There are also no written records explaining that the jar was ever used as a battery. Because of this, many experts believe it may have served an entirely different purpose. Some suggest it was simply a container for storing valuable scrolls or religious items. Others argue that the electrical experiment only shows what the jar could do, not what it was actually designed to do. Why it still fascinates us. Even today, the Baghdad Battery remains one of archaeology's greatest unsolved mysteries. Was it the world's first battery? A forgotten scientific invention? Or simply an ancient object whose real purpose has been lost forever? No one knows for certain. But one thing is clear. A simple clay jar has challenged everything we thought we knew about ancient technology. Fact number 5, the lost city of Atlantis. The greatest mystery beneath the sea. Imagine an entire civilization rich, powerful, and more advanced than any kingdom of its time. Then, in a single day and night, it vanished beneath the ocean forever. Was Atlantis a real place, or the greatest legend ever told? This is the mystery of the lost city of Atlantis, the beginning of the legend. The story of Atlantis began more than 2,300 years ago with the ancient Greek philosopher Plato. In two of his writings, Timaeus and Critias, Plato described a magnificent island located beyond the Pillars of Hercules, known today as the Strait of Gibraltar. According to Plato, Atlantis was an enormous island nation with beautiful palaces, advanced engineering, fertile farmland, and a powerful navy. Its people were wealthy, intelligent, and highly skilled. For generations, Atlantis flourished and became one of the most powerful civilizations in the ancient world. But power changed them. As the Atlanteans grew richer, they also became greedy and corrupt. According to Plato, the gods decided they had become too proud. Then came disaster. The day Atlantis disappeared. Plato claimed that in one terrible day and night, violent earthquakes and massive floods struck the island. The ground split apart, the sea swallowed cities, and Atlantis disappeared beneath the waves, never to be seen again. For centuries, people believed the story was only a myth, but others wondered, what if Plato was describing a real event? The search for Atlantis. Over the last few centuries, explorers, historians, and treasure hunters have searched for Atlantis across the globe. Some believe it lies beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Others think it could have been near the Greek island of Santorini, where a massive volcanic eruption devastated the ancient Minoan civilization around 1600 BCE. Still others have suggested locations near Spain, the Caribbean, or even Antarctica. Despite countless expeditions, no one has found convincing evidence of Plato's lost city. Many underwater ruins once thought to be Atlantis were later identified as natural formations or the remains of known ancient settlements. The mystery remains unsolved. Was Atlantis real? Historians are divided. Some believe Plato invented Atlantis as a moral story, a warning that even the greatest civilizations can fall because of arrogance and corruption. Others argue that the legend may have been inspired by real disasters, such as volcanic eruptions, tsunamis, or cities destroyed by the sea. Without definitive archaeological evidence, no one can say for certain whether Atlantis ever existed. That uncertainty is exactly what keeps the legend alive. Conclusion, 11-1230. More than 2,000 years after Plato first told the story, Atlantis continues to capture the world's imagination. Was it a real civilization lost beneath the waves, a memory of an ancient catastrophe, or simply one of history's greatest fictional tales? Until undeniable evidence is discovered, the lost city of Atlantis will remain one of humanity's greatest mysteries.